This is the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast, your source for the strategies, systems, and smarts you need to turn possibility into purpose. Every week we dive into dynamic conversations as our host, Nicole Greer, interviews leadership and business experts. They're here to shed light on practical solutions to the challenges of personal and professional development. Now, here's your host, a professional speaker, coach, and consultant, Nicole Greer.
Welcome, everybody, to the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. My name is Nicole Greer, and they call me the Vibrant Coach. And I have a very good friend from the National Speakers Association with me today. I spent an entire 5 days with Corey in Arizona. I saw him from afar as he was on stage, at the CSP, Certified Speaking Professional Breakfast. So I'm delighted to have him here today. Let me tell you a little bit about him, and then he'll say hello. So Corey is a best-selling author, a top-rated keynote speaker, and founder of Impact Social Media. Corey helps speakers and businesses succeed through practical, results-driven digital marketing strategies. He began his career with the e-commerce division of General Motors before launching his consulting and speaking business in 2009. Since then, he's worked with notable brands including Cisco Foods, the American Healthcare Association, the Dallas Cowboys, the PGA Tour, and many others. Corey has incredible keynotes that are engaging and tailored to each audience, and we're going to tailor his book today to the HR folks that are listening, the learning and development folks that are listening, and the leaders that are listening. Known for actionable insights and clear strategies, he continually earns top ratings from clients large and small. Whether you're looking to grow your bookings, strengthen your online presence, or leverage AI to work smarter, Corey shows you how to make social media work for you without wasting time or energy. And that is what I'm into. I don't want to waste any time and energy. I'm so glad you're here, Corey.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Look what he sent me in the mail, everybody.
Hey.
On the YouTube. Look at this. Are you so proud?
I'm very proud. Yes.
Yeah, that's like a man giving birth to his baby.
Yes. Yeah. I would not be the one to compare that because I'd get in big trouble, but
right. Well,
let's just say it's a lot of work. Yes.
That's right. Well, I can say it because I'm the female.
Yes, you
It's
can
all
say
good.
it.
All right. Well, so just to kind of frame our conversation today, I wanted to say that one of the things that I do, Corey, whenever I go and I speak to human resource audiences is I say to them, we have to show our company as a group of humans. And a group of humans creates a culture. And so I think that your book, Authentically Social, Breakthrough to Being You, is not only applicable to somebody like myself who owns an organization, who is an entrepreneur, but also to a large corporation. Like when we go online and we're looking for a position, or we want to see what's going on with our very own company, like what's going on with us, wouldn't it be great to go to a social media feed that had authentically social humans and things? Wouldn't it be great?
It would be great. And dogs, by the way, as you see in the background here.
Okay, very good. Well, hey, that's right. I mean,
it's all authentic, it's
that's right.
The world we live in right now. No, when we were prepping for this, I was telling you that sometimes I'll have audiences where people will be in the room and say, what's in it for me? My personal brand's not really something I'm real focused on. I'm in HR and such. And I will mention to them that their new crop of employees, the people that they want to work for them in the future, are going over to social and kicking their tires and looking at what their culture is, what their values are, what they stand for, sustainability, all kinds of things that we all know that these new different generations are looking for. And social is the story that tells them that. And that tip definitely perks their eyes up and makes them more interested in listening. So I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And listen, on page 1 in the introduction, you have a paragraph that I want to read to everybody because I think this is where the rubber meets the road. In this book, Authentically Social, Breakthrough by Being You by Corey Perlman, it says, we will discover how authenticity encourages businesses to showcase their humanity.
Yes.
AKA employees, right? The faces, the voices, and stories that breathe life into their brands. And another way to say that is build a vibrant culture. Moreover, in this book, we'll uncover the extraordinary potential for businesses to foster a sense of belonging, which is a culture. And where customers become more than consumers, they become cherished members of a community. So it's just like bringing the culture together, not only the culture of the employees, but now we've got our customers and we're bringing all these people together. So I'm so happy you're here.
Well, thank you. Yes, that's telling that full story is the key. Yep.
Yep. Well, the first chapter is about strategy, and you have principles in here. And I love it how you've broken it down. You said the first thing is be yourself, everyone else is taken. So, how could an organization wanting to promote their products and also promote their culture and the experience that the employees will have, how can they be themselves?
Yeah, and I think, it'd be interesting for both of us to take a shot at this because I think you have some value to share on this as well from your experience. But I would say that it's important for them to tell their story, as I said earlier. And so what does that look like? What your values are, what your mission statement is, and what some of the key things that you want to showcase on social. So for example, if your company likes to have fun, make sure you show that on social. Say you guys have like a fun Fridays or do something fun on Friday. You showcase that, take pictures, shoot video. If you do like a monthly service project, if your team goes out on the road and does events and things of that nature, you want to be able to capture that. One of the key principles that we say is capture instead of create. And what we mean by
Oh,
that
I
is,
love that.
yes, capture instead of create, which basically is capture the content instead of create it. So if you're going out and doing things, you can capture it. So figuring out what your story is and then telling that on social and what you want to project or portray as your digital story needs to come out. But I'm certainly interested in what you would say would be important as well.
Yeah, well, on page 10, you have this thing, it's in bold. You say, people want to engage with and do business with people. And those people in your
Yes.
business are your employees. And I love what you're saying about capture instead of create, because I don't know about you, but like I am overwhelmed with content creation. Do you have a content creator and all this kind of stuff? It seems like it's been blown into this big production, and not all of us have the time, money, or energy to create a production. But gosh, if you're doing something great with your people today, onboarding a new guy into the IT department, take his picture.
Yes, exactly. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. So that's so good. And then you talk about, and you just said, if you guys like to have fun, make sure that the social media that your company's putting out absolutely says you like to have fun. And on page 12, you have a list of character traits that might describe the culture that you have. I mean, a lot of people, Corey, they need to figure out what they want their culture to be or what it currently is and how do we move the needle on it. But I love
Yeah.
your list of traits.
Yes, absolutely. So we asked them in terms of your culture, are you guys, as I mentioned, a company that loves to have fun? Are you super into sustainability or what's, like part of our name is impact. So we want to make an impact on the community every month and think. So having that discussion, A, B, coming up with what your values, and what you want to stand for, what you want to show up as online. And then C, how do you do that online? How do you make sure that what you are doing inside the company or around the community is showing up on your socials?
So good. All right. So that's principle number one. Be yourself. So figure out what your culture is, pick your character traits. Okay. So let's go to principle two. Beware of the shiny penny syndrome. You have in here your mantra. Don't be a jack of all social media sites and a master of none. And so, Corey, I just recently asked somebody, do I need to be everywhere or
Right.
can I just be on the LinkedIn? I mean, because that's the one I love. Those are where my people are.
Yeah, let me validate that for you. You absolutely can pick the site that makes the most sense for you. Every time a company tries to be on the flavor of the month, it takes resources, time, and energy away from the platforms that they were focused on, or the platform in your case that you're focused on. So I validate the fact that you don't need to be on TikTok, you don't need to be on Snapchat, you can be wherever makes the most sense for you. And then, of course, the question your listeners might be asking right now is where is the best place? So that question lies with where your audience typically is. So if you are potential employees are say age 30 to 45, then my guess is Instagram is a prime place for you to be showing up, showing your values, your mission, all the things we talked about earlier. And if they happen to be maybe younger, say, 18 to 30, then maybe it is TikTok. So it's important to understand the audience that you're going after and then figuring out where that demographic likes to spend their time online.
Yeah, that's a fantastic piece of advice. And just for those of you listening, you're thinking, well, how do I actually do this? I have a little tip for you. I want you to go to Instagram right now and I want you to look up Spire Integrated. Spire Integrated. They're one of my clients. They're up in Detroit and they hire people to be technicians that put in like fancy lighting and like you go in people's houses and their blinds go up and down or
No, cool.
and their alarms are set by remote and all this kind of stuff. And so that's what they do. And they're amazing. And they do an excellent job for showcasing their employees. So, and they do it on the Instagram because they're hiring all these young guys that are, in their 20s and 30s that are going to be doing the work. So great. Okay. Your advice on principle 2 is choose 3 social platforms to focus on and just eliminate the rest. Just get really good at a few things.
And it could even be less than that. I gave them 3, but in your case, if LinkedIn is a place for you, then 1 is totally acceptable.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I've really dialed it in on my own business. I mean, people who have teams that want to do talent development and HR people that want to grow their people, which is almost every HR person I know, is on the LinkedIn. So that's where I hang out. All right. So principle number 3, take pride in your profiles. Your mantra here is, I'm as proud of my online brand as I am of my products or services. And so what I love about this is the fact that you wouldn't put your brand new product in a used box and send it out.
Right.
You'd put it in a fresh box, right? And a nice sticker or whatever. So your social media should be as slick.
Yeah. So this is getting a little in the weeds, but if you've chosen, say, Instagram, just as an example, as your platform where you're going to be doing a lot of the things that you and I are talking today, then you want to make sure that your storefront, if you will, is a good representation of your brand. And that is the pictures that you show, the big cover photo. There's highlights that you can do on Instagram where those are the circles that are at the top. We often liken the top of your Instagram similar to your website. So those highlights I'm talking about, they're permanent stories, can be like main navigation links to your website. So that might be like testimonials or services or whatever. So when somebody visits your Instagram for the first time, they can explore the different parts of your business through those highlights. And then the pinned posts, you can, on your grid, which is like your homepage, if you keep that analogy going, you can pin some posts to the top. So 3 of your tiles at the top can be there every time somebody goes there. They never go away. And so you want to put your best foot forward there. So that's like your top of your homepage, like the New York Times, whatever you want to show, maybe like 3 tiles of different things that, again, display your values and mission for your business. So this is a way for you to be able to put up a great impression to kick off and to tell people who you are and what separates you versus your competition. I think those are the key things you want to answer there.
Yeah. And then I would just advocate for one of those tiles, especially if you're experiencing what we're all experiencing out there in terms of hiring people. Is to be like, we're hiring and come work for us. And this is our employee value proposition, like, come
Great
on.
point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah. So good. And I love your advice. You also say, make sure that your information is up to date. So we do need to be posting. Like, this needs to be on your to-do list.
Well, that's right. And things change, right? So like maybe you're hiring now, but then you're not. You want to make sure that things are up to date because you'd hate for somebody to, apply within and then you're actually not hiring. So keep that thing up to date for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think this one is something that maybe we don't think about, but make sure that you have a positive sentiment. And you say, this is a big one. On each platform I visit, I look for the overall sentiment. Is it positive or negative? I think that is such a good tip.
So the way that they can do that in this case is what I would typically say is this would be a customer giving an online review. In the case of HR, if we're thinking of in the world of hiring, this can be current employees that love their job, and it doesn't have to be a specific testimonial, but it can just, if you're showcasing employees with happy faces and enjoying their time at work, that is exactly what I'm saying about positive sentiment.
Yeah, that's great. So, Corey, I do this program called the Build a Vibrant Culture Toolbox, and it involves like bandanas and drum circles and crazy things like that. And I mean, I have pictures of senior vice presidents with bandanas on their heads and drumsticks in their hands. And we take these pictures, we put it out, and people are just like, that is the company I want to work for.
I love it. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So good. All right. Principle number 4. Okay. We all hear about these algorithms. And I say it like that on purpose because that's how we think about it. So you say the algorithms favor the bold, and the mantra you have in here is, I'll minimize my social platforms, but I'll maximize the latest features.
So I give your audience a break on being able to not focus on every platform out there because that could be a full-time job, as we were talking about earlier.
Right.
However, once you've figured out what your 1 or 2 platforms are, what I'm saying here is you want to maximize all the features within those platforms because the early adopters to those features win the algorithm game. So the example would be I'll use you as an example. On
All right.
LinkedIn, what you should be doing is, if you're not already, is doing a LinkedIn newsletter. It's one of their latest features. LinkedIn's kind of a slow behemoth compared to the rest of them. They don't come out with a new feature every day like Instagram and Facebook do. But for LinkedIn over the last couple of years, the newsletter feature has been a big new feature. So for our clients, as we've gotten them to do LinkedIn newsletters, they're seeing a lot of engagement. And they would come back to us and say, why are our newsletters getting so much more engagement than our typical post? And the reason for that is because LinkedIn is pushing it. They want that feature to be successful. So if you are an early adopter to that feature, they will reward you with more eyeballs and more engagement. So in your case, I would say LinkedIn newsletters. Over on Instagram, it might be reels. It might be stories I mentioned before. It might be these trial reels that are happening right now where you can create a reel and it will show it to a different audience. But, they're coming up with new features all the time. If you pay attention to those and you are quick to use them, again, the algorithms reward you.
Yeah, yeah. And here's what I'm thinking is we've got to get up with marketing. HR and marketing need to have a relationship. They need to be breaking bread together and doing all sorts of good things together. All right, so you could put a newsletter out from your company, is what I'm hearing. If I have a company page, I can.
100%.
Okay, all right. And don't miss that. And help me, Corey. You can have a personal page on LinkedIn for those of you who are listening. So it's like it says Nicole Greer, but then I have a page called Build a Vibrant Culture. And so you could put a newsletter on both of those, yes?
Correct. 100%.
Okay, all right, fantastic. All right, principle number 5 is never forget that you're easily forgettable. And the
Yes.
mantra is I'll stay connected and in service to my audience. So you can't go stale and cold.
Yeah. So this is where up to this point, we've really been talking about, like you said, strategy, what profiles I should be on, what features I should be using. And now we're turning into content. Like, what should we produce? And I'm glad you bring this one up because I wanted to mention this earlier,
Yeah.
which was it is important, even on LinkedIn, to bring your personal side to companies. I would say your values and such. A lot of times you see with LinkedIn and companies, they're just doing like brochures and things of that nature. Bring your full self there. Don't be afraid. The things that you and I were talking about earlier, the events, the community events, the employees having fun on Friday, and they're like, oh, we don't want to put that on LinkedIn. No, you do. You want to
Absolutely
show the
do.
human side on LinkedIn just as much as you show on Instagram and the other platforms.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And I think too, I was talking with some folks at Bloom over in Denver, North Carolina. We call it Denver of the East, don't you know? Anyway, so over in Denver, North Carolina, and I was talking with the marketing director there. They're a huge company, family owned, but they're in like 9 different countries. Absolutely huge company. They make drawer slides and hinges. Okay.
Mm,
So somebody's got to make all the stuff for IKEA, and
that's
they
right.
and they do. And so the marketing department was sharing with me that they took a video with their iPhone 15 and it was this release gadget so that when you want to adjust the door on the cabinet facing, you just click and the hinge comes out. And then you put it in and you screw it back and it closes flat. And so they showed one of their technicians doing this work. It got like 1 million views because
Wow.
all these dudes who do construction were like,
Yeah. So cool. Yeah.
yeah, like, I mean, you would be surprised how many people want to look at a
So
50-second hinge video.
that's right. So Nicole, I call that how the sausage is made, so that's really great for your listeners to think about is what might be mundane and normal to you is entertainment and interesting and novel to us. So don't be afraid again to capture your day-to-day operations, the things that you're doing to make whatever you're doing or creating or whatnot, because to us, it's really interesting. You never know what's going to hit. The algorithm's fickle. So that was a great example of that.
Yeah, so good.
Are you ready to build your vibrant culture? Bring Nicole Greer to speak to your leadership team, conference, or organization to help them with their strategies, systems, and smarts to increase clarity, accountability, energy, and results. Your organization will get lit from within. Email her at nicole@vibrantculture.com. And be sure to check out Nicole's TEDx talk at vibrantculture.com.
Okay.
Mhm.
The other thing you're saying here is that you could do contests, cross promotion, signage, QR codes. I mean, you could embed a QR code goes directly to a position you're desperately trying to hire for. all sorts of different things like that. And then you say consistency is key with this. So I totally agree.
Yes. Yeah. And consistency, just so you know, Nicole, can be every day, or it could be once a week, or even a couple times a month. But as long as you're consistent in that rhythm, that's the key.
Right. And, if people go to your stream or your page or your landing spot, they're going to be able to go through the whole list, right, to see if you're on there and you're doing stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So section 2 is creating compelling content. You say principle 6, be less like a squawking parrot and more like a wise owl. Yeah. Tell us about that one.
So it's just a metaphor to remember something I used to say like 10 years ago. And I've had people come up to me and say, I don't want to be that squawking parrot. And I was like, oh, I guess that is kind of memorable. So the squawking parrot is just somebody who says something over and over and over again. I liken this on LinkedIn to the company page or the personal page that you just see an article over, it's just article, and it's boring. And so nobody's paying attention to it. Whereas the wise owl is trying to be a thought leader, trying to educate, trying to add value, trying to really inspire, and inform people who are on their page. So they're looking to educate, and it's a full story. So it's got multiple chapters to that story where, again, the squawking parrot is a one-trick pony. The wise owl is telling a full digital story. So that's just the reminder of the two birds. No offense to the parrot fans of the world. So.
You got to be careful. People
You got to be
offended.
careful.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So at the end of every chapter, Corey's got a little, here's how you take action on these things section, which I love, right? We can talk about these principles, but then he's like, okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. And so you've got this thing. Here's how you get started. Peruse your social media over the last 3 months. Go find out what your social media partner is doing. Are they over promoting, sharing content? Only talking about the business, not others, lacking consistency, clutter posting, telling people who to vote for. I think that's hilarious. No, hopefully you're doing that. That'll get you in big trouble. And you'll alienate 50% of your candidates. Okay.
Amen.
All right. So principle number 7, talk in terms of their interest, not your own. So the mantra, I'll create content with my audience at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, so this is just a reminder to our listeners that we need to be thinking about what is concerning potential employees right now. What are they thinking about? What are some things that we can share that would be of interest to them? So we're thinking about their motives and interests and not our own. And every time, when we have a client, we ask them about their posting strategy. We ask before they post something, is this of value to my audience? And if the answer is no, then we might want to think about whether or not we should post that. So let me turn it back to you, Nicole, for a second. So in terms of maybe if you can think of a couple of your clients, and in this regard of maybe employee acquisition, what might be some things that they could potentially post that would be of interest to those people in your mind?
Oh, I love that you're asking me that. I just had the most wonderful guest on the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast, and she was talking about totally innovating the benefit process at your company. And what she was talking about was instead of like everybody gets the same package, would you like your family covered or not have your family covered? It's just basically that simple at a lot of places. And she was talking about how we give people basically a pot of money and they have to invest it in their benefits, but they have this whole menu that they can choose from. And I can just imagine if you put that on social media, how amazing would that be? And then if you had somebody say, like I'm a 27-year-old dude. And so this is what I'm doing with my money. I'm putting it all in an HSA. I've got the minimum insurance because I want to go to the gym. I need glasses and whatever,
Right.
And then you have somebody who's 32 and pregnant and female. And so she's got the whole package. So wouldn't that be a great social media post in terms of like, oh my gosh, what an innovative, cool employee centric company this is to do something like that.
And I love that example. And it also, for the employer, it shows the flexibility and the customization of their plans. So even though they're showing other people and putting their interests in mind, they're also being able to show what they do as well at the same time, which is a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, principle 8, talk more about baristas and less about your coffee. Mantra, I will humanize my brand by highlighting my people. And that's really the essence of why I wanted to have you on the show, because a company is a bunch of humans.
Yeah. And if you only read one chapter of the book, not saying you should, but if you did, this would be the chapter for your audience to read.
Yeah.
And the reason I said baristas was because when I was writing this book, I would go to a coffee shop. And what I was saying is, lots of coffee shops are great. I love them all. I'm a big coffee guy.
Me too.
Yeah. And so it's not the coffee, although it's important. The product is great, but it was really the people. That's what made me come back week in and week out was they had such a great team. They knew who I was. They were kind. They'd ask me questions. I was kind of part of the family and that made the world to me. And that's why I would continue to go to that place. So what can we take away from that for your people? We know most likely if they're listening to this show that their people are important to them. That's probably already a given. The problem for most of the people listening right now is that they are not showing that online.
That's right.
So what they need to do is to capture you spreading the love about your people, showing anniversaries, so-and-so's getting married, congratulations, or they just hit a 5-year mark at our company. We want to wish them well. You need to showcase that on social. Let other people see how much you love your team on social.
Yeah, that's so good. I was recently speaking at a CPA employee conference up in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for SEK. What an amazing organization. And Corey, leader there, the managing partner, her name's Kara. She started as an intern like 28 years ago, and now she's the managing partner.
That's
And
awesome.
they have like 6 locations across Pennsylvania and Maryland. I mean, it's epic. And as we're talking about this, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to show a picture of her when she was an intern and
The
a picture of
timeline.
her now? Because doesn't everybody like, oh, there's your baby picture, but this would be her baby accountant picture. And then just tell the story. Because at the event, after I spoke, she shared about herself in a very humble and beautiful way. But I just sit there and think that's what a young female accountant looking to pick her CPA home needs
Well,
to
you're
see.
You're so brilliant. As I see why they love you so much, by the way, because that is such a smart thing to do. Because not only are you showing love to this person, Kara, which is great, and you're doing it for all the right reasons. But again, what is that showing about your company?
Yeah.
That she loves working there, that you are clearly a place that somebody who does not mind spending a long part of their career at that establishment. So again, what a win-win.
Yeah, and I just got to tell you one more thing about that because it just popped in my mind. But think about this.
Mm,
So the other thing that Kara did is she put together an entire team in the Philippines. Now, a lot of people I know use folks in the Philippines, and it's strictly kind of like a Fiverr kind of relationship or
right,
something.
right.
But like these are her real employees, and she flew them all to this event,
Wow.
and they were
Wow.
oh, and she had pictures of them at
Mm.
Hershey Park, eating the chocolate, doing all the things. And so,
That's
I
so
mean, I just think that's definitely what you're going to do. So, on page 51, Corey has these great questions. So think about this. What inspired you to join your company, and what do you like most about working here? Put that out there. What are some biggest accomplishments the company has done? What advice would you give somebody interested in pursuing a career in your field? What are some hobbies and interests? You can put all this kind of stuff out there. And I'm a big believer, my listeners know, it's like we can't be the principal's office. We have to be relatable humans in the HR department. So important. All right, principle number 9. Don't tell me, show me. Mantra video will be a fundamental piece of my overall digital strategy.
Yeah, so video is paramount on every platform, even LinkedIn. So the question is, what can we do as an organization when I talk about putting it out on social? How can we do it with motion? Now, I use the word motion very carefully because yes, video is obviously motion and very important. But, people say, well, does that mean that, photography or imagery is done? And no, the answer is that's not the case, but it's how you put those photographs on there. So there's a feature or a tool called carousel posts on all platforms. And what that is a bunch of images like rotating. So if you go on to your social and you hit the little arrow and if you see a bunch of pictures, that's a carousel post. And that's a way to be able to create motion with images. So I want your listeners just to take away that as their marketing team is wanting to put their content out there, how can they do it in the form of motion? Because if you do it in the form of motion, you'll tend to get more engagement.
So good. So good. Yeah. And you have an employee event, you can put a bunch of pictures up there, right? So
Exactly.
good. Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to go to principle 14. And in there, you talk about more funny, more money. So I'm a big believer. It's not that serious. Work should be fun. Vibrant is fun. So
Yes.
what do you mean by more funny, more money? I love that.
Well, it's just a good reminder to all of us that this is social media, and the first word in social media is social. So people are there not always to learn, but just to take a break for entertainment purposes and to relax a little bit. So how can we be a part of that as a community or as an organization? And again, that goes back to like, if you guys are hosting fun events or participating in fun events, then showcase that. Or if you've got something kind of humorous or lighthearted about your services, or that has some sort of thread to what you do or what you guys are about, and it made you laugh, maybe it'll make other people laugh. But social media, as you know, can be a very dark place. And so if we can be a little bit of the light, that's a good thing. So that's what I would say about that.
That's right. Vibrant, shine, light. Exactly.
Yes, light.
Okay, very good. All right. And then, in the rest of the book, you talk about a couple of things. Section 3, you talk about efficiency. So if you are sitting here listening, okay, well, this is all good and well, Nicole and Corey, but like, how do I get started? You have a principle about keeping your sanity with a content calendar. So what is a content calendar? Just real quick for us that are novices, we want to understand. What does that mean?
It just means that, if each day of the week, let's just say, is dedicated to a certain topic. And I'm glad you asked that, because I was thinking like, you've got your marketers and then you've got your HR. And obviously they're not typically in the same position, but maybe there's a day on your social media calendar that's dedicated to employees.
Yes.
And so the human resources or the HR folks are feeding the marketing team this content so that they have their day, and so they're working together. And that's what I mean by a content calendar. Everybody knows that Thursdays are all about thank you Thursdays, and we're thanking our team. And that's that. That's what I mean by a content calendar.
Yeah. And imagine if your Thank You Thursdays got a little love in terms of like you didn't tell who was going to be on there. And so all your people were like, it's Thank You Thursday. I wonder if I'll be the person that's thanked. That could be
Right.
really fun. That could
I
be a
love
lot of
that.
fun. Yeah. All right. And then the last principle I want to do is principle 20. And listen, y'all, that's how we talk in Concord, North Carolina, y'all.
Yeah.
We have 23 principles in Corey Perlman's book, Authentically Social, which I think you can apply to your HR efforts. You say principle 20, be down with the OPP, other people's posts. And I just want to say that in my stream, when I'm looking at stuff, there'll be somebody in there and they're like, I am looking for this person. I cannot find this person.
Right.
And it just takes 1 second to repost and help your fellow HR brother or sister out and say, does anybody know somebody that would be able to do this role? So you said, never doubt the power of a digital high five. I love that.
So, this is specifically talking about LinkedIn, but this is a really important thing for your audience. So let's be very clear on this. Yes. Comments are king on LinkedIn. So when it comes to the algorithm, the more comments that we get on a post, the more they're going to show it to more people. And the more comments that we give out to other posts, the more that it rewards us for our own stuff. So just remember comments on both sides, writing comments on other people's stuff and getting comments on our own stuff. So how does that work for your audience? If you do a job posting out there, let's say to the company page, you want to get every human being within the company to go and comment on that post. That alone will get that fire started for that and get it out to more people. Yes. So that's a big one for you. So anytime you guys do a job posting or anything that is important to HR, get your team, get everybody to go out on LinkedIn and start that comment conversation. It'll get other people commenting. And trust me when I tell you, it'll get your content to more people. And to your point, show the love in the opposite direction. So spend 15 minutes a day or a week going out on LinkedIn and simply just commenting on other people's stuff. So you might see another person within the team posting something that's relevant or whatever. Go out and comment, spread the love a little bit. People appreciate it. Nicole, I know you know that feeling that when you go to a LinkedIn post and you see Stephanie commented on your thing, you see it, you appreciate it, and you remember it. And that's important.
And you reply to it.
And you reply to it. That's the other R, yes.
That's so good. That's so good. Okay, everybody. We have just had the greatest little conversation with Corey Perlman. If you're on the YouTube, this is the book. Go get the book, people, and apply these things to your HR practice, to your employee engagement. I think it'll be a game changer. Corey, if people want to work with you, they're like, we're going to need Corey's help. So how do they get a hold of you so you can help them get this pulled off?
So our website is impactsocialmedia.com if they want to check out the agencies. That's impactsocialmedia.com. And my personal website is coreyperlman.com, CoreyPerlman.com. And then, of course, on all the channels, you can find me at Corey Perlman Speaks on Instagram and Corey Perlman on LinkedIn. Nicole, thank you. I really appreciate how thorough you went through the book, and it really means the world to me. And I'm glad it's been a good thing for you, and I hope that it helps some of your organizations and HR folks as well. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody, let's practice what we just preached. If you will go down to the bottom of whatever you're on, the YouTube, the Apple Podcast, wherever you're hanging out, and push the little button that says like, wherever it is, leave a comment. Just put love Corey. Love him. Just write that, and then we'll all be good and we'll all be happy, and he will get out there to the world and help all of us do a much better job. That's been another episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. I'll see you back here next time. Thanks, Corey.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more like-minded listeners. Remember, the journey to building a vibrant culture never stops. Stay inspired, keep nurturing your vibrant culture, and we can't wait to reconnect with you on the next exciting episode of the Build a Vibrant Culture podcast.